And do you remember your first bear?
Yeah, actually, one of my first bears was had a little leather jacket on, very similar to Roger. I don't know why he had a leather jacket. I don't think he was a biker bear. But he was gorgeous. Yeah, it was like Little Ted, which is very much why these bears, if anyone remembers Play School,
absolutely.
they look like
Well,
Little Ted.
you wanted the bear to be not frightening. You didn't. It's a teddy bear. It's not about grizzly bear, is it?
No, there's no humps on backs and reproduction claws or paws on this. This is a cuddly teddy bear that is going to be a friend of the family. He's going to be in bed with you when you go to bed at night. He's going to be in your toy chest when you're not bothered about playing with him. And they'll sit very comfortably on a table. This bear's very popular with English students, people at university.
Yeah.
It looks great sat on a desk.
Well, it's interesting because my daughter's doing her AS levels this year, and it's sort of she's doing English literature, so it would be absolutely
It's a wonderful idea for people. Yeah.
Perfect for
very popular with
for
actors
her.
as well.
I just adore him. Maybe you've got somebody that's doing those exams. £22.99p, 206990. We have got to move on because we've got so many bears to show you. Now, we are in Peterborough. We're actually very, very near to Robin Hood's county, and my kids and I go swinging through the trees in the Sherwood Forest in Nottingham.
Well, I've heard about you, I think, swinging through the trees in Nottingham.
Oh, stop it. But the beauty of this is, what a wonderful bear to give my kids to remember. And I've actually got a picture of my husband swinging on the zip wires. So this would just be perfect. But Robin Hood is a little bit special, isn't he?
Yeah, this is a difficult one to make. He's made completely from Nova Suede, different colours of Nova Suede. All the belts are working belts. There's another belt here. It's actually easier to see. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's much easier to demonstrate there. All the belts are working belts, all made from safe leatherette. Again, every bear that we make is safe for any child over the age of 3.
3 and over.
Yeah, toy safety tested to exceed every international toy safety standard. We've got the pheasant feather in his cap. He's got a quiver with an arrow on the back. And it is a working little bow and arrow.
The arrow actually works?
Yeah, I used to be a little boy, and I wouldn't have wanted a bear with a bow and arrow that didn't fire.
Oh, I love it. So you've got the little suction cap.
Yeah, which one should we go for?
Get Craig.
I reckon I could hit Craig from here.
Go on, hit Craig. Oh, almost.
Nearly.
Almost. Well, this one is Robin Hood. I'll give you that little belt there. But again, what you have is the most adorable, detailed bear. You always find something different when you look at them. The fact that he's got his little working bow and arrows. And do you design every bear?
Yeah, I went to art college, so that's very much my thing. And I wanted a bear that was the Robin Hood that I grew up with. Yeah. So that's very much Errol Flynn rather than Russell Crowe. And that's the original drawing. And I doubt if there's anything on that drawing that didn't end up on the actual bear.
No, it's
if
true.
you look at the detail on the cuff,
you've got the pheasant.
I think we've got that.
Yes, you've even got, look, let's show you the little...
We tend to add more when we make the bears that wasn't there on the drawing. And we use different coloured leathers on the quiver than we do on the belts.
Look, everything, because it wouldn't have all matched.
No, it's the layers of different green. I think that's the attention to detail that I find enjoyable.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Because I trained as a children's illustrator. That's what I did before I did this. So it starts off as a painting full of detail, and it should end up with a friend that's got as much detail to play with as well.
So what was the driving force behind it? Why did you decide, OK, I'm going to start a teddy bear company?
Well, we went to this store, as I told you, every year to look at the bears and didn't buy them and play with my mum's bears. When my daughter was born 12 years ago, I took her to the same store and I said, you can have any bear here.
Yeah, choose whatever one you want.
And she didn't want any of them. She said, I want one of Nanny's special bears. So we promptly took her home. My mum started making clothes again. Her friends wanted them, and her friends' friends wanted them. And I thought, maybe there's something in that.
Yeah.
And maybe we should be making Nanny Chris's special bears for everyone.
Well,
it's pretty
Nanny
much
Chris's
what we do.
special bears are what we've got here. They're here for you today. Look at that little character. And they're all so different. The way that they move, they're all articulated bears. You've got the role-playing. I think it's so wonderful. I do think that some of the charming things that we did when we were kids, you know, young kids today have computers and games consoles, and I love something as traditional as this.
You don't put batteries in these, you just hug them and love them.
Love them.
You collect the bear, but collect the memories with the bear.
I think the
That's
memories
key.
are the most important thing.
They've all got a little tail on the back as
Now,
well.
why have they got tails? Because
I'll show you. I keep
most
getting the
bears
same
don't
sketchbook
have
out.
tails, do
No,
they?
I did a drawing of the first ever bear. This was when I was designing a bear that I wanted to be articulated. And you can see that there's a slightly simplistic tail drawn on the back.
Who drew that?
And that was drawn on by my daughter, because I was sit there drawing it. She was very little at the time. She said the teddy bear needs a tail.
Oh.
So she drew the tail on. In actual fact, now the tail helps them stand up with all the hats.
Yes.
So I think there's a designer there somewhere.
You see, there's a budding designer, even at her small young age.
And the ears face forward on our bears. They're very different to the shape of a normal teddy bear's ears. That's how we can fit the hats on.
Ah, yeah, because they do face forward, don't they?
So they're cup-shaped ears, which
Yep.
gives a large area of head, so we can put hats of any description on them.
Love them. 206997, that's Robin Hood. Oh, which one are you going to go for? Are you going to go for a few? We've got 3 more to show you, and it's very hard to choose. 3 gorgeous ones, and hopefully this is the first show of many to come here at Ideal World. Now, you've got some fascinating things to tell me about the fabulous Florence Nightingale.
Yes, Florence Nightingale is well known to us in the UK, but in actual fact, every nurse in the world says the Florence Nightingale pledge when they graduate.
So you're telling me even nurses in Japan,
Every
Africa?
nurses in Japan adore this bear, nurses in Africa all know Florence Nightingale, and when they graduate, they promise in the name of Florence Nightingale that they're going to look after, support their physicians and look after their patients. So this is Florence with her lamp, which she carried in the Crimean War.
Yeah.
I think the best thing about Florence Nightingale is the playability.
So do I.
Yes, the costume is completely accurate because
Yes.
we had access to the Florence Nightingale Museum. The apron comes off, the dress comes off, you've got the leg of mutton sleeves, a little pearl on the cuff. We've even got pearls on her dress that you don't see because
Yeah.
they're underneath the apron, the lace bonnet. But she carries 2 little bandages in her bag.
Where's
So
her?
here's her bag.
So where does her bag go? She hasn't
Her
got a
bag goes on her
here.
shoulder,
Okay.
here.
Yeah.
And then inside her bandage bag, she's got 3 little bandages,
Oh my gosh.
each with little red.
Oh my gosh.
So you can then take one of your other bears and you can care for your bear. And I don't know any child that wouldn't want to bandage their pets,
Oh,
their
I'm sorry,
bears, their
I
mum,
want
their
to.
dad.
Can I bandage you?
Yeah, we can bandage the bear.
No, I'm going to bandage you.
Okay, bandage me.
Okay. And then Florence can look after you.
Actually, it did hurt a bit, my arm, actually.
Did it?
Yeah, it does now.
Does it? Look, Florence, are you going to look after...
And you'll notice that we've got red bands on there as well, so they can be used to secure the bandages because we don't want any pins or safety
No, we
pins being
don't.
used.
And
So you see one here.
look.
So this is a good patient.
He's
and
a
I
very
think
good patient.
this one will be better in no time now.
Oh, you're going to feel better.
So you start to see the stories developing.
And the
you
role
can
playing.
see
We all played doctors
you
and
can
nurses
see
when we were
Bobby,
little.
and you can see the army bears coming back, and you can see Florence looking after them all.
So it's the professions that obviously we need as human beings, and it's really life just played before you. And the Teddy Bear's Picnic, that, you know, the words to that song, the music was written first, and then the words were actually written 30 years later. And I was looking up facts about bears, and I didn't realise that they were called Bruins originally. And the bear's only been, the actual humble teddy bear, the first bear was sold in 1902, so it was only 110 years ago.
And those old bears that are still being made a version of them now that are so expensive, they were made as toys.
Yeah, they
They
were.
weren't made.
No.
They weren't made, and they weren't expensive then,
No.
and they weren't made for people to put on a shelf and ignore them.
One of the most, the first bears that were actually given for a reason, not as toys, was in the mourning bear for people that had died in the Titanic.
And there was the famous
a
black bear
it was
that was
the
the
black
Queen.
bear.
Yeah, that I think was one of the Queen's funerals, wasn't it?
So, you know, the history of the teddy bear, there's so much to actually look into. It's fascinating. 206994 is your item number. I think teddy bears are part of our heritage now.
And what they can become as well is they can be part of your memories.
Yeah.
It's a photo album on its own. When I look at this little bear,
Oh,
I can remember my sister playing with this bear, and I can remember my mum knitting it.
Oh, I just think it's wonderful.
And that's the best sort of toy. So I hope
agree
that people can remember bandaging their dog up with the bandages that Florence Nightingale's got, and playing games with their grandparents.
Yeah.
And that's what makes these great British bears, because it's great British memories.
Well, that's exactly what we're talking about. It's all the British professions here as well. 206994 for the fabulous Florence. Maybe you have a nurse in your midst. Maybe you have, maybe your mum is a nurse, maybe your sister, maybe your brother's a nurse, because it's not just the girlies that are nurses these days.
No, this is a wonderful bear for nurses. On May the 12th, you've got International Nursing Day. If you have someone that's graduating, you want to get a gift ready now, I think it's a great idea.
And that's just £22.99p, a fabulous introductory
My
price.
arm's better now. Well
Is
done.
your arm feeling better?
Wonderful.
There's your little bandage holder. Oh, we're going to move on.